Hey everybody, and welcome back to Erlengrot. Erlengrand. I don't really know how to pronounce this map. At any rate, we are having ourselves a fun old time here, farming in the Alps. It is late spring, and, well, if you remember from the last video, it looked like we were going to have rain all day today. Well, as it turns out, it doesn't look like we have any rain whatsoever. So we are coming back from the shop. Just had our mowers checked out, made sure they were good to go for the season. In prime working order. Filling up the tractor. Because this thing indeed has a small gas tank. Fuel tank, I guess you could say. That Fent will run for, gosh, it feels like a day and a half, maybe 2 full days, without really needing to fill up this thing. Good luck. Good luck getting a day out of it before it's plumb puckered out. We have finished all of our seeding. Everything is done. Seeders are put away. It is... well, it's time to get started. And as I said the other day, we're going to focus first on basically getting grass into our fermenting silo. I was feeding the cows earlier this morning and boom, we are out of silage. Last load of mixed rations today. Basically used it all up. We're going to be focusing on getting that back up and running today. And depending on how the weather looks, depending on what we get cut, we just might cut some hay too. Or cut some grass destined for hay. Have to see if we think we might have good drying conditions tomorrow or not. One of the perks of this mower was that the overlap between the front mower and the back mowers would facilitate tighter turns and not leaving little bits of uncut grass between the front mower and the rear mowers. And I've got to say, I don't see any of that in the first pass we made. Even on these turns that we made, you know, with the Kloss mowers, Hooverland mowers, in-game at Pottinger mowers. Make some of these turns and you're going to leave areas uncut. Like definitely this would have left. Now this here we would have had bits uncut, but we're not seeing that with this mower. Pretty good job. You know, those other mowers, they're a little wider. The Kloss mower, no, the Kloss mower I don't think does. The Vicon Hooverland mower definitely windrows. So they have their They have their advantages, and I would say they work best on flat fields where you're making long, straight passes. I have to say this mower combination worked great, even where you need to make turns. Sharp turns, not a problem with this thing. Go ahead and finish this area up, and I want to do a little in-cab driving because I wanted to show off that front chassis twist. Keep that front on the ground, keep the rear planted on the ground. Instead of using suspension, use a knuckle, a twisting joint in the center chassis. Pretty interesting design. Model tractor has been pretty much designed from the ground up to have a optimal working condition on this type of ground, and mowers too. How they flex and follow the curvature of the terrain. We're going to be up here a higher level than this left mower, but it's just following the terrain without any issues. Really amazing piece of kit. Don't discount it just because it's not the widest mower out in the game. It serves its purpose. The purpose isn't to cut the widest swath. Take a look at the weather. We got good weather today, good weather tomorrow. Drying conditions, favorable tomorrow. Yeah, I might just cut a bunch today. Just might. I don't know, I might save some. So what I was looking to cut, I just cut this down here. I was going to cut this up here. Then I was going to cut this area here, and this area over here. That's what I was going to cut. Probably this here. Basically, I was going to leave this for hay and this for hay. Really, it's going to depend on yield. What kind of yield are we getting? As to how much I leave hay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get all the areas I said I was going to at least cut for grass. Get that cut, and I'll be back with you once we are ready to start raking this up. Just wanted to bring you in to see these mowers in action. They don't show off their true awesomeness until you're mowing on some uneven terrain. Then the way each rear mower basically floats independent of the other and really hug and conform the ground. Really a work of art. I'm trying something new with this belt windrower and the TT281 Plus, and that is to use the front 3-point hitch windrower kind of to windrow or move the outer pass, the outer mower pass kind of more into the field. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up to the rear 3-point hitch windrower and use that to basically windrow the field itself, because I thought, you know what, we've got a lot of fields where we're close to the sides of the roads, close to trees, rocks, and other things, that it might be easier to basically move the outer little bit of grass using something like this than basically trying to grab it with the pull behind windrower, because this particular vehicle has an interesting ability. It has the ability to shift the 3-point hitch a little bit. So what I'm doing is I've shifted it all the way to the right versus having it more centered. And what that then gives me is lets me basically grab that outer little bit of grass from the edge while not having to drive right on the edge, because see, if we were in the middle, it'd be kind of like that. So it's really, that's the only thing, use situation that I've really come up with for being able to shift this 3-point left or right, is to kind of skew something to the side a little bit. Now, if I could, this thing had the horsepower, I would run the rear windrower at the same time. But it just doesn't have the horsepower. For whatever reason, this darn belt windrower takes 100 horsepower. Meanwhile, the pull behind takes like 90 or something like that. So yeah. See why I'm wanting to use this particular vehicle with the duals. It has a nice wide stance, very low to the ground, so it has a low center of gravity. It's not going to be as inclined to do any sort of tipping action. It'll be a very stable work platform. And I really like how, ooh, a little crazy with the mowing there. I really like how this front 3-point floats. Really feels like it's floating on the ground and twists left and right. Again, the whole concept is it's following the curvature of the ground. See, we can windrow close to the field without really risking driving on the field. Get that one windrow over a little bit. Then we'll come through with pull behind. Just wanted to show you that, and in the comments, what do you all think that shift capability of the front 3-point? What do you think the use scenario is for that? Maybe if you've seen it used before, maybe not in this type of vehicle, but in a different vehicle. How was it used? I'm really curious. Really cool animations on this Oettinger windrower. Of course, part of the pack. Last field we have to windrow. We're going to get to collecting our grass. We're over here by fields 23, 24, and 25. Grass we have loops kind of around some residential areas, residential houses. Let's take a look at that. This little PT281 Plus is pretty darn good job of pulling this windrower. I think I need to do some servicing on the windrower. Not really sure if 9 miles an hour is the top speed or not. Haven't had any issues with respect to it conforming to the ground and things like that. Skipping as a result of hills. Yeah, runs pretty darn nice. See how the front axle's rotating. We'll always keep wheels on the ground. Really seems to be a trend with this Alpine farming expansion equipment. Just generally, they have a lot more articulation. Traditional vehicles and equipment are probably going to have more in the way of suspension. As suspension still, but the axles, chassis, a lot more stuff is designed to twist, thus conform to the undulations of just the Alpine farming needs. Look at that view. Gosh. Seriously. Overcast today, so it's not as bright, not as sunny, which is a good thing. I think this grass is, for me, a bit too bright. Not enough real contrast between cut grass and the windrow texture. Thick, pretty easy to see. It's rather thin on the ground. It's blends in a bit for me. So if the sun is out, I think that would be even harder to see. The fact that it's cloudy makes it a lot easier. I was thinking, these three fields and the grass that is around it. And imagine if you put grass in those 3 fields. This area here, right across the street from the biogas plant, make you a fair bit of grass to put into the hoppers there, the silage bunkers. But something I did find interesting on this map is just the general cost of land isn't uniform. Arable land is far more expensive than the same amount of grassland. Like, take a look here. This is composed of 8.5, 9.3, 17.17, 9, 3, so that 16.5 acres plus 8. 24, it's about 25 acres, right? For 173, 188, 349,000. Here we have 46 acres for 284,000. So less than this 17-acre plot by all of this. Sure, that's been a thing on other maps where grassland is cheaper than arable. But I found that to be very much the case on this particular map. I'm going to go ahead and continue windrowing this up. So this is the last little bit we have to windrow. And I'll catch you. We've got the forage attachment on the back of our Lin track. I'm going to give that a run. Probably for the hilliest areas. And then we'll probably use our blue tractor, the Linder, with the forage wagon to pick up more of the easy to get to grass or the flatter terrain. Catch you on the flip side. And now we have the long-awaited process of collecting our grass and taking it down here to our fermenting silo using our Unitrack and the forage harvester, the forage wagon module on the back, and we're using it for the really hilly parts. And then we're going to use the normal forage wagon in with our Linder tractor on the not so hilly parts. Like this particular area here, well, not somewhere that I'd want to be with a normal tractor. That's for sure. We're going to collect this grass here. This combination of machinery. Then we'll come through with our normal forage wagon and basically collect the rest. We can do on more of a up-down run. That hill up there, that's not all that bad. A little steep down here. Then we've got the whole area south of the farm. A little steep. We're going to go collect that next. Because this here, this is pretty bad, but That's not that bad. They're all going to be north-south runs. Easily take care of those. That particular kit right there. Go ahead and unload this while we're over here. Again, really the biggest downside to this particular equipment is its size, therefore its capacity. We're going to collect the whole bottom here with this particular piece of machinery. Probably going to take 4 or 5 loads, but okay. And we've got a couple sections over on the far fields. They're a little steep that we can get with this. Already full. It's going to take a bit more than 4 or 5 loads. That's okay. Tomorrow we're going to be out in the fields spraying our weeds. Ground a chance to dry off a little bit. Then weather permitting, we're going to be back out here getting the grass again. But this time, I want it to make some hay. Take a look at our forecast. Got good weather tomorrow. Sunny weather tomorrow. Rain. 90% chance of rain on Tuesday, so that might be a bust. So far, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, getting warm, sunny. That might be our hay making weather. Tomorrow, no joy. No joy. Everything is still wet. In fact, let's just check our ground moisture. No. 24% ground moisture. Still too wet by a fair bit. Anything we cut right now, we would have to head. We'd have to cut it. Then we'd have to head it. Then we'd have to let it dry sometime tomorrow. Then we'd have to windrow it. And then we'd have to bale it for hay. All with the threat of rain following day. I would rather just take tomorrow, spray herbicide on our fields, and then wait for the rain to end, see if the weather's going to clear up for summer, at which time we will be in great position to focus exclusively on the hay. We're not running low on hay or anything, so we're doing pretty good. Now we're full again. So overall, it's just going to be a whole bunch of back and forth for us with this particular kit. So we get all of the hilly grass collected. Like I said, we're going to switch over to the other trailer as it's got a little bigger capacity, or we won't have to make as many trips. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please go ahead and click that like button. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of our playthrough here? Choice of equipment, methods that we're taking. And until next time, happy farming.